Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the master gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Okay, I will get ready and put my headphones on and know what's going on. Sorry, Adam. My first out there today is Happy Veterans Day. Give a big shout out to everybody who's a veteran. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you to my engineer here who is a veteran. Thank you very much for your service also. I have great admiration for anyone that can stick through it in the military.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I hope you get out there and get your free car washed today, too. Okay. Yes. Now at DeBruyn's, we have some new things going on this week. The grand opening for deer season is this week. The opener special for the armed, and the guys thought they would take $2 off the trophy rock and the Sweet Licks deer block. Those are the large blocks that we have that the deer absolutely love. So they took $2 off. It's a great deal right now. Trophy rock is $10.98. That's the one that looks like a rock. It's very decorative. You could put it in your backyard if you have deer there. They would love that. And then the Sweet Licks deer block, that's the great big heavy square thing. They're both $2 off their normal price for the opener special this week at DeBruyn's. What else is going on at DeBruyn's? The heated pet beds, I have to keep reminding people, they are in. It's a little chilly for the cats and dogs, so you might want to think about getting a heated cat bed or a dog bed. My cat loves his. The store cat basically lives in one, so it's not that cold in the store or in the office, but he's always in his little bed. So yeah, keep that in mind. Makes great presents for your grand dogs and cats. They all seem to love it. They remember that they spend all of their time near the floor where it's a little cooler. So yeah, keep that in mind. Amaryllis bulbs, they are in. They are growing already. It is so much fun to watch the little bulbs come out of those great big bulbs. You get the little flowers coming out of them. I know when I was leaving, Caleb was planting some of them that were a little bent. He was trying to straighten them out. So yes, grab those. They look beautiful this year. They're huge, beautiful bulbs. And Ken's got them on sale. I believe they're $6.98 a piece. He's got white, red, and then kind of a red and white mixed one. Very, very pretty ones this year. I love amaryllis. They're so easy to do. So, yeah. And, and every day we're getting more and more fun things out. We got a bunch of new bird feeders in. We got a lot of the Stovall wooden bird feeders in. I think we got everyone that Mr. Stovall makes, and he's got quite a lineup of bird feeders and bird houses. So we've got them all at the store right now. We've got the seed wreaths and snowmen that you can put up outside for the birds. Those make kind of a fun present too. It's just compressed seed into different shapes, and they're fun. And we also have, Butter wanted me to say, we have the Temptations, the 2023 Temptations Snacky Penguin Cat Treat Dispenser. Butter's on a diet, and he's not allowed to play with his, but you put cat treats in there, and then they sit there and they bat it, and a treat will come out. And it was Butternut, our old store cat. He loved those things. He would get really mad at it, and he would just wallop it across the floor, and then the top would come off, and then he could eat all the treats inside. He knew how to work that thing. But it's fun. Butterball only does it one at a time, but hey, he's on a diet, not allowed any treats. So the poor guy can't play with his, but your cat can. Your cat is not on a 1/2 cup of dry food a day regimen here. Poor little guy. He always looks hungry. You put that food out, and they put the food, the 1/2 cup, in 3 different bowls for the cat in case he wants to be in the lunchroom or down in the office by my chair or downstairs in the store. And when you divide a 1/2 cup of dry food into 3 parts, it doesn't look like much in any bowl. It's like barely covering the bottom. The poor little guy. And every cat knows that, once you can see the bottom of the bowl, it means it's empty. At least my cat does at home. So I'm sure Butterball seems the same way because he'll just sit there and just kind of look at you so sad when he goes over to a dish and it's only got like 10 little pieces of cat food in it. It's kind of a sad thing. So he wants me to feel bad for him, but he has lost a 1/2 pound. So it's taken a 1/2 year, but he's lost a 1/2 pound. We're trying to do more aerobic things with him. We're trying to get him to be a little more, running around a little bit, but it's been a little hard. So this diet stuff, boy, that's for the birds for him. That's as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now I also have to remind you, Coffee with the Birds will start December 9, 2023. Kurt Dykstra with the Ottawa County Park. He is at Hemlock's Crossing. He does a feeder watch between 9 and 11 a.m. And in the middle of it, he does a little presentation on some birds. Sometimes it's owls. Sometimes it's eagles. You never know what he's going to do a presentation on. Getting closer to the time, I'm sure he'll announce it. But the first one is December 9. You can either go to Hemlock Crossings and be there in person. My sister did that last year. She loved it. You sit in front of this wall of windows. You sit inside the lodge there. And outside, he has got all of these bird feeders. I think he bought, I don't know, 10, 20 different bird feeders. And he's got them all out there at different levels, different food. He comes with this little tiny car, and he just stuffs it full of food every time. He has a little bit of everything. So if you want to know, who's coming to your feeders, he tells you who's, hey, that's a female whatchamajigger, and that's, look it over here. And he knows them all. He knows, he'll tell you how to identify them. It's really fun I just stream it online. My sister went in person. There's only so much room in that room that they have. So if you come and it's full, you're going to be in another room watching it as it's being streamed. But hey, still fun to be there in person. That's December 9 is the first one. And there's one in January, February, and March. So keep that in mind. And I was told the other day that they do a contest every year of birds. You send in your best picture of a bird. And I almost did this year, but everyone else's are so much better than mine. But the grand prize winner will be announced at the end of this month, I believe. So we don't have very long to wait. And the coffee mugs will come out with the winner's prize on it. You can pre-order them, but you're not going to see them. And even Kurt wouldn't even tell me, wouldn't even give me a hint of what bird is going to be on there. So we don't know, but they'll be coming out, and great time for Christmas presents, or even just if you got a set of them, you're doing them every year. That might be fun. Or if your picture won, that might be even better, but we don't know. And I know he's got a bunch of door prizes for during the season. He's got a lot of beautiful wood feeders. And I know he's got other prizes too. So it's kind of a fun thing to do.
If your picture gets picked, do you get a free mug?
I would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because if it's my picture, I want a mug.
Yes, I would hope so. They're always much better than anything I take. I just get a little bit, Yeah, you guys do such a better job than I do. Um, Caleb and I the other day we took we we've got this thing that supposedly picks up acorns underneath oak trees. So Caleb and I grabbed that thing the other day, and we threw a bunch of tulip bulbs, smaller tulip bulbs. It would be a larger size acorn, and we ran this thing over it. This is so much fun to play with. This is it just picked those all up, kept them in there until you opened it up to dump them out. I was surprised how well this thing worked, and it reminded me of that little toy that the kids have that picks things up. And I thought, hey, this would be a great toy for a kid, or just give it to them for Christmas and tell them, now you have to go outside and pick up the acorns. I think they would love to do it. Caleb and I were having a ball throwing the tulip bulbs all over the floor and running over them with the thing. And I have to admit, it does work. If we got the bigger tulip bulbs, we had to get the bigger size cage, and then that worked for that. But it does work. So if you had any idea, does this really work or not? It does. So, and we've got them at DeBruyn's now. If you've got a lot of acorns, and believe me, if you've got an oak tree, you've got a lot of acorns this year. So rather than walking on them, you might want to invest in one of these. It's going to last more than 1 year, believe me. It's a nicely well-made garden tool, I guess you would call it. It's a kind of a cool thing to do. So, yeah, keep that on in the back of your mind. I did get in the cat alerts this week from MSU Extension. I did get something on oak wilt, and this past year we lost a lot of red oaks due to oak wilt, and it's something that can be stopped. We have to make sure we do not trim an oak tree between April 15 and I would say through the end of the summer. If they get a wound on them, what happens is once you get a wound on it, then you get that little fungal growth on the edge of the wound, which kind of will cover the wound eventually. And those little picnic beetles get in there, and they've just fed on another oak tree that has it, and they spread it to your oak tree. So we don't want that to happen. So do not trim your oak trees. I would say the safest time to trim your oak trees is during the winter. Don't be doing that in the summer, spring or summer. It just does not work well. And if your oak tree does have oak wilt, it will die within 1 to 2 years. Doesn't matter. It can be one of those huge oak trees. It's just going to go down. So they cut them down, and now we've got all this wood. They pile up the wood. They transfer it from one place to another. We take the virus for the oak wilt from one place to another, and more beetles pick it up over there. And we need to get rid of the logs, or cover them up extremely well so the bugs cannot get in there. You're spreading oak wilt all over the state of Michigan. Not you personally. Maybe you are. I don't know. But we have to stop and take a break, and we will be right back with the Garden Show after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. You can call and join the show, 616-395-1450. My gosh, my cell phone comes into my head all the time. 616-395-1450 is the number to call if you want to join us on the Garden Show. Couple of things that are happening around town, around the state, is the Great Lakes Vegetable and Farm Market Expo is coming at DeVos Hall, December 5 through the 7th. It is huge. It's got over 450 exhibitors. There are many classes you can take. the ones that I'm looking at are lavender, and there's a couple on onions. I was got a little question about that. You can learn how to plant, what diseases they get, how to start a farm market, how to, if you want to start selling your maple syrup or whatever from your home, how to do that correctly. They will help you with all that. They also have some classes that you can take if you need a couple of extra credit points for your pesticide license. So, it's a fun show to do. You learn a lot. December 5 through 7. You need to register before the 15th. Otherwise, they add $20, and it's already $105 now. But if you register now before that, you can go all 3 days for that. That's not a problem. Or you can pick one day that you really want to go, whatever you want to do. So go on to the Michigan Extension and go on, look at events, and you can sign up for that event. There is also the Heroes. What is this? Hives for Heroes. Heroes for Hives. What they call that? Well, I'll find that out. But it's for veterans, and their families, whatever. And you can register for the in-hive workshops at MSU sites in the 2024 beekeeping session. So Heroes for Hives program. So they do help you how to take care of your hives, what to look for. They will help you with marketing. They will help you all the way through there. You do have to go to MSU Extension's Heroes to Hives. That's it. Webpage, or just go onto the Extension webpage. You'll find Heroes to Hives if you are a veteran and you're thinking about doing something with beekeeping, which is a fun thing. It's not a full-time job, but it certainly is a fun thing. You get to be outside. What more do you want? I don't know. And then the last thing is there's the Foundations of Gardening. It's a 10-week online certificate course that includes weekly webinars delivered by MSU Extension experts and learning modules with readings, videos, and interactive activities. This is the first step to becoming an MSU Extension Master Gardener now. So you need to take this class if you want to be a Master Gardener, or if you just want to have the garden you've always wanted. This might be a good class to take. 10 weeks. It starts in February 1, goes through April 11 on Thursday evenings. The cost is $350. I know that's a lot, but they are accepting scholarship applications through November 30. Registration actually begins December 7, but you might want to think about, you might want to go onto the Extension website and look at Foundations of Gardening and look at all the stuff that you would cover, of all the stuff that you would learn. You do have to take a test at the end, but I believe it's open book. So, and you need to get 80%. I think if you can't get 80%, that's pretty bad. If you're sitting there looking at the book that, and all the things that they have given you, I think you should be able to do this. This will not be a problem. But if you want to become MSU Extension Master Gardener, you need to take this class. They offered it last spring, and for you that didn't get it to take it last spring, you can do it now. So think about that. That's coming up in February, and I think that's about it for anything that you can sign up for. They were talking about on the cat alerts this week about this little, it's a native wasp. It's one of our native bees and wasps. It is a wasp. It's a solitary wasp, and it makes its nest in like if there's a grass that's like a tube, it likes to make its nest in there, and it brings in other grasses and makes a little nest, and then it goes out and it kills these crickets, the tree crickets. Well, it doesn't kill them. It just stuns them, puts them in its little cocoon that it's making in this grass that it's got, and then lays an egg, and then the babies can eat this tree cricket, which we don't want. So it's a good wasp. It does pollinate. It does go from flower to flower. So it's a good wasp, and it actually gets rid of some tree crickets. It's something that, I looked at the picture and I thought, yeah, I've seen that wasp before. It's about, an inch and a half big. It's just a large black one. It won't sting you. It's not aggressive because it does not have a hive that it's trying to protect. So it's just going to kind of go on its way and do its thing. And it's fine with me. But they were suggesting you put out, if you want to, people like to put out insect houses and et cetera. But for something like this, just those little tubes that you put out, that's kind of fun because they'll just go into there. And they're in there if there's like little pieces of grass sticking out. So it's kind of fun to get a couple of those in your insect house. So remember to put some tubes in your houses as well as little, just plain holes or whatever. Put tubes in there for these little guys to go into. And you do really want them in your backyard. They do help. So something to think about. Making an insect house with the kids or the grandkids, or a place around, in the backyard or whatever that will harbor insects. We do like that. Do leave some of your area around your house. Don't mow it. Don't manicure it. That's a great place for like a honeybee, the queen, to overwinter. Also, bumblebees will overwinter in leaf litter there. So don't rake it. Just leave it natural, and you get the little insects that are good. Not all insects are bad. So, remember that. There's a lot of good ones that will eat other ones that we don't like. So we don't want to just spray and kill everything. It's kind of a good thing to just aim at what is destroying your crop, not at just everything. Keep that in mind. Aphids, which are not my number one nemesis around my house, especially after they've harvested the soybean fields. It's like all of those ladybugs that were in that soybean field now come, or all those aphids now come into my garden. I just hate those. Sometimes you can get rid of them just by hosing them off. Just remember that the eggs they lay will come out again 2 weeks later. So remember, not just one time that you hose it off. You're going to have to do it several times. You can spray, although ladybugs love aphids. And there's a bunch of good insects that love aphids. But I'll tell you, it's never just one aphid. It's always a gazillion aphids at one time. So again, you can spray them. You can spray, but if you're going to spray anything, we have to remember, spray early morning when the bees aren't out. We spray the green part. We don't spray flowers. That's what the bees have to land on. So we don't spray flowers. And again, do it when the bees are not out. But that's a different subject for a different time. This is the time of year, though, to clean out your bird feeders. I cleaned mine out last weekend, maybe 2 weekends ago. Get them, just empty them. Let the birds drain it down and then just take it down. Especially get that gunk that's at the bottom of the feeder that always gets there. And I don't know how it does, but it's old seed and heaven knows what's in there packed down, but it's got a lot of fungal spores in there and mold spores. It can get the birds sick if they ingest it. So we need to get that out of there. It's best if you've got a feeder that you can take the bottom off, because that is the easiest way to get rid of it. Not all of my feeders are like that, so I got to turn them upside down and wallop them and get that. And it usually comes out as one or, maybe a couple big chunks. And then clean out the feeder with a dilute bleach solution, 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. You can also use white vinegar. That will work also. But remember to rinse it well after you've done that, and then let it dry. And then you can put the feed back in and get it going again. Especially during heavy feeding times of the year, and that's usually winter. It's best if you can clean out those feeders once a month. That works the best. I want to keep my my birds as healthy as they possibly can be. So keep the feeders clean. A couple years ago, the finches were having a terrible problem with that eye disease, that it would get their swelling around their eyes so bad that they couldn't see, and then they can't eat because they can't find anything, and they would die. So keep the feeders clean, and then you don't have that problem, which means cleaning the outside of the feeders as well as the inside of the feeders. Don't just think I have to clean the inside and I'm done with it. Clean the outside also. We need to stop, take a break. It's almost news time here. So Adam will be playing the news and some messages, and we will be back with the garden show after that happens.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we're back. You know, it's beautiful sunshine. The sky is a beautiful blue. It's a great day to be outside and maybe finish up those last of the chores. If you haven't gotten to, maybe cut down your perennials yet, let's get those cut down and neaten up those perennial beds. It is time to put your roses to sleep, folks. I know you don't want to do that, but you need to cut them down to about 12 to 18 inches tall. Make sure you don't cut it down below where the rose was grafted onto the original one. And then get some mulch. Take what's under the rose bush right now. Get that out of there. Put some new mulch around the bottom of it. Get it nice and warm and tucked in for the winter, and then put your rose cone or one of your little New View tents over top of it and get those situated on the ground. Rose cone, put the brick on the top or stone on the top, and let's say goodnight to it for the winter. Keep it nice and snug and safe, and it will be very happy. If you're putting up Christmas lights, do be careful on those bushes. You don't want to break some branches, because this really isn't a great time of year to trim the bushes. Midwinter would be great, but it's a little on the iffy side right now. So do be careful when you're putting up those Christmas tree lights outside on your bushes and on your small trees. Do put them out there because I enjoy seeing them, but do be careful when you're around your bushes putting those lights out. If you haven't gotten your garden put to bed yet, it needs to be done. We don't want to leave all that stuff over winter on the garden, like tomatoes and squash and anything that's got seeds left in it. We need to get that out of there. We don't want volunteer plants coming up next year. That just doesn't work. So get that all cleaned out. You can put some of your, if you don't want to rake your lawn, you can go over the lawn with a lawnmower and mulching mower and get them into little tiny pieces. You can put that on top of your garden as a mulch for the winter, or you can plant some cereal rye. It's about the only thing I can think of that you might be able to plant yet. We still have blueberry farmers that are coming in every day that need to plant some cereal rye around their blueberry bushes for the winter. So we do if you can still put it in your garden, have it grow. It stays green during the winter under the snow, and in the spring you just kind of plow it under, and then you can plant your grass or your garden again. It does add organic matter to the soil. That works well. Some people will plant oats too, but oats will die with a heavy frost. But the rye seems to be okay during the winter. It's kind of like our lawns. It still stays there during it doesn't grow, but it will stay green under the snow, and that's something. It doesn't really die during the winter, so it looks horrible out there. You can still fertilize the lawn if you have not done your fall fertilization yet. You have until the snow is covering the ground. MSU will say Thanksgiving Day is a great day to put down fertilizer. as long as there's no snow on the ground. And they usually suggest a turf builder type fertilizer put down at that point in time. Probably the fall fertilizer is not something to put down right now, but maybe more of a summer fertilizer with a higher nitrogen that will help the crown of the plant. That's where the blade of the plant meets the roots. That's called the crown. If you put the turf builder type fertilizer on, it does help the crown. And if you have a healthy crown on your plant, it doesn't die over the winter, so you don't get dead grass the next spring. And it will green up quicker and be a nicer lawn quicker if you can keep that crown nice and healthy during the winter. And so that would mean, the fall fertilizing of the lawn. So that's why it is so important to put that fertilizer down. And yes, get out there and, mulch the leaves. The guys by me decided it was a much better idea to take the leaf blowers and go all around my house on Thursday when I had off. Thank you very much. It was not a very relaxing day at the least. It seemed like they were always blowing leaves right around my house. I've got by my front porch, it always ends up with leaves in there. But my goodness, their leaf blowers, I swear you could probably have heard that in Zealand. Those things were loud. I would have just preferred them to go over the lawn with a mulching mower and just get, if you can get the leaves to be like, the size of a dime or smaller, you can just leave that on the lawn then. I mean, not inches and inches of it, but a layer on the lawn would be just fine. So you can do that. And we do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You are on the Garden Show.
Yeah, good morning. I had a question on some holly bushes.
Sure.
We have some of them on the south side of the house that are doing great, and some on the north side that are doing really bad. And what's weird is I looked at the pH level. The ones that are doing good, the pH of the soil is 8. And the ones that are doing bad, the pH, I've worked on it with sulfur to get it down to 6. But they're still looking really bad.
My guess is it's the north side of the house. Everything I've got on the north side of the house takes so much more work than on the south side where that gets more sun all year long. I would make sure that they go into winter being well watered. We want them to have enough water in the plant, so keep them watered. I know it sounds odd this time of year, but keep them watered. I want you to spray some of the wilt stop or wilt proof around on all of the leaves. That will help any, the wind comes and it just will suck the moisture right out of the leaves, and then they turn brown and they die. That does not work. So we need that wilt stop or wilt proof on there. And then I want you to get the holly tone fertilizer, and I want you to put some down right now around your plants, especially on the north side. And then again in the spring, you need to do that again.
Okay.
We're going to put them in intensive care.
Okay. Is it worth trying to move the good plants in the front? Or is it a bad time to do that?
It's really not that great of a time to do that. The soil is still warm enough, but I don't know how much longer this weather is going to last. So I guess it's a little bit late for that. But I mean, you can even cover these plants if you want. You can wrap them in burlap, or you can cover them with those little New View tents over top of them. I've got some on the north side of my house too that I really have to baby to keep them going.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's what I'll try.
Yeah. Good luck. I salute you. You're trying your hardest here. Yep.
Okay. Thanks for your help.
Yep. Bye-bye. Yeah, I'll tell you, anything on the north side of your house, that wind during the winter, especially if it's an evergreen type of a plant, it is just horrible on that. So do remember to spray it with some wilt stop. It needs to go into winter being well watered. So make sure that they are well watered on that side. Holly tone on top of them would not be remiss. And hollytone can go on your rhododendrons. It can go on your evergreens. It can go on to anything that stays green all year long, especially holly bushes. The holly bushes on the south side of my house are absolutely beautiful. I might think of them in the spring and throw some hollytone on them, but that's about all they ever need. But the north side does need extra care because the wind in the winter is basically out of the north and west, and it just hits those plants. I don't know why they always plant those there, but I really don't know of any other things that really work in your lawn that really can handle that wind during the winter. It's just brutal. So do prevent a lot of damage by making sure that your plants are well fortified for the winter. And honestly, don't feel bad about covering your plants, especially the ones that are like right under the eaves. I mean, if you get snow and it comes off your eaves and it just drops down on your plant, or you've got some bushes that when you're shoveling the sidewalk, they always get covered with snow. Let's protect them. They are an expensive part of your landscaping. So let's keep them healthy and keep them alive during the winter. I would rather go too far out trying to save them than not do enough. So yes, keeping them well watered all fall long will help. An application of fertilizer will not be remiss, and also covering them up if necessary. If you got that heavy load of a snow on top of them, that is never good. So do take care of them as best you can. And as we are preparing for winter, let us all make sure we have enough ice melt on hand. You never know when you're going to get another one of those mornings like we had a week ago or so, where it's 29 degrees. It was a heavy frost, and there was ice everywhere because it's really not all that dry out right now. It seems like it's always raining at some point during the day, and the ground gets wet. So it was slippery. So let's make sure we've got enough ice melts down. We can help you if you don't know what kind of ice melt you can use. Some are more pet friendly than others, but still make sure when you come in the house with your pet after walking, and I don't care if it says pet safe, pet friendly, whatever, or it's just plain old rock salt, take the towel and wipe your animal's feet down. Very, very important. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back right after this.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. We were talking about pet safe ice melt out there before the break. Don't just say, oh, it's pet safe, I don't have to do anything. Yes, you do. You still have to take your little cloth. You have to wipe between the little dog's little toes or your cat's toes, because what they do when they come in, then they start licking their feet like they always do, and then they ingest the ice melt. That's what causes the problem, is them eating it, not necessarily them walking on it. So do make sure you've got those little feet all nice and clean. If they'll stand to wear boots when you bring them outside, that would be the best. But I really don't know of too many animals that will take those boots, except for maybe some sled dogs. But yeah, do keep those precious little feet nice and clean, so they don't get any kind of problems with the ice melt later on. And make sure that we've got your garden put to bed. If you had a high soil pH like that man putting soil sulfur down, fall is the time to put the sulfur down. You will note that on your soil test. I mean, if your soil pH is 8, yes, you do need to put some sulfur down. And it's not just a one-time thing, but every fall you put sulfur down. They'll usually give you a recommended rate to put it down at. But this is the time of year. Don't forget it. Don't think, oh, I'll put it down in the spring. Really, no, that's really not the time to put it down. It needs time to work. It's not going to work instantaneously in the spring. Lime works much quicker than sulfur ever will. So, but we don't want to put lime down because that goes in the wrong direction. If you got a wildflower patch, make sure you brush hog that down, or however you can get that mowed down to about 6 inches tall. That will help some of those annual flower seeds from to germinate right underneath there. Otherwise, they kind of fly away in the wind. So we need to get that mowed down during the fall. That's very important. Putting the garden bed. Hopefully you have brought your mandevillas and your hibiscus, etc. Those sorts of plants that you had outside. They need to come in. You need to cut them back. My mandevillas, I cut them back to about 12 inches. I soak them in water, into a bucket of water that just the root part of the plant was submerged in the water for a good half hour, and then I could take it out and drain it. I just wanted to kill all the bugs that might come in that were in the soil. We don't want them to come in the house. And then you might want to even spray them with maybe some insecticidal soap before you put them out. Don't put them near your plants that have been inside all winter long, because then you're just going to, if it does come back with any kind of insects or fungal diseases, you now are just sharing it with everybody else in the house. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure you do kind of put them off to one side. And my mandevillas just perked right back up. They're looking fine. And actually, at 12 inches, it left a couple of blossoms. We really want to cut all the blossoms off, but they were so pretty. I left them on one side of them, so I got to cut them down in a little bit. But they were pretty. I wanted to keep them on. But your hibiscus, again, if it's one of those that does not like to be outside during the winter, you do need to bring that inside. You can cut that back either now or in the spring. But again, we don't want any of those flowers leaving on the plant. I need to stop right now. I need to remind you I'll be here Tuesday morning at 8:35 with Dan for the garden party, and then I will be on from 10 till 11 on Tuesday. God, I got to think of when that time is. From 10 to 11 on Talk of the Town on Tuesday for the garden hour. And then I will be back here. I'm trying so hard to get all the names of these shows right. I'll be back here next Saturday at 11:05 for the garden show. So, yes, I got all three correct. Yes, we are celebrating in the studio today. So, we will have all of those happening. But again, I will be back here next Saturday. And until then, go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.